kita bercakap berkenaan dengan konsep normal baharu kerana setiap aspek kehidupan kita perlu disesuaikan dan diubah kerana penularan COVID-19 dan juga Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan. Bukan sahaja ketika PKP tetapi lama selepas PKP tamat. Daripada ekonomi ke pendidikan dan restoran sekalipun, semuanya perlu menyesuaikan diri dengan model operasi yang baru untuk kita still dan semasih lagi menyesuaikan diri dengan normal baru yang bakal kita lalui selepas ini. Dan antara normal baru yang paling penting sekarang, yang paling signifikan adalah semua anak-anak kita, murid sama ada sekolah rendah ataupun menengah ataupun tadika ataupun taska, perlu kekal di rumah, meletakkan bebanan ataupun tanggungjawab untuk mendidik mereka secara homeschool kepada ibu bapa. Dan sekarang ini kita lihat banyak program atau banyak inisiatif yang dilakukan untuk meningkatkan e-learning, iaitu belajar secara jauh, secara digital kerana kesemua murid-murid ini tidak boleh lagi pergi ke sekolah. Jadi apa jurang dan bagaimana kita rapatkan jurang digital e-learning ini supaya ia dapat dinikmati oleh semua murid, termasuk di kawasan luar bandar, termasuk di kawasan-kawasan yang tidak mempunyai akses internet. Dan untuk kita berbincang berkenaan dengan perkara ini, menerusi Skype sekarang, secara langsung menyertai kami adalah saudari Ya Shin Wan. Beliau adalah Pengurus Penyelidikan Dasar Sosial di Institut Demokrasi dan juga Hal Ehwal Ekonomi ataupun IDEAS. Dan saya mahu mengubah perturan ini ataupun perbualan ini ke dalam bahasa Inggeris. Ya Shin, thanks so much for joining us. We understand the challenges we currently face to implement e-learning en masse. But we also understand the government's limited capacity to ensure all infrastructure is ready quick, especially in rural and low-income households. And if I can just bring up this graphic here, which is available in your report published by IDEAS about the access to IT infrastructure, various IT infrastructure, including mobile phones, computers for students in rural and also urban households. We're not quite there yet. So these will take time to implement and to set up the necessary infrastructure. But for now, what are the quick wins that the government can achieve?
I think there are two main quick wins that the government can achieve. One is to distribute devices, so devices such as laptops or tablets, as well as dongles to students who do not have a device or internet at home. So schools can identify the students who need a device and then they could distribute it. Of course, there will still be gaps if you distribute devices. So the other one that we can do is basically to expand lessons on television, which the government has started doing. So currently we have on OKTV 2 1-hour slots plus the rumor, but that could be expanded to extend to different levels, so that throughout the day there will be classes for more children. So if we see, according to the survey, 98.6% has household have television. So that would be better coverage than.
So well, now we know that UPSR and PT3 have been cancelled this year. SPM, STPM have been postponed, and the government itself has said that less emphasis will be put on examinations. So how do we accurately measure the success and capability of each student without exams?
So I think one of the other methods that could be used is assessment based on assignments and projects. So we could take into consideration other soft skills like presentation skills and creativity. But teaching will have to change with the change of assessments, and lessons have to be more interactive and encourage discussion among students and teachers. But this does not mean that exams are not important, or we should do away with exams, but we could include other ways of assessment to encourage new ways of teaching.
So do you think this presents, this is, for me, a bit of a milestone in terms of the government itself saying that less emphasis will be put on exams moving forward. This may be the start of a new precedent. How do you see this current predicament that we're in now as an opportunity for us to totally kickstart or revamp or reform our education system and make changes that will last even long after the MCO ends?
Yeah, I think one of the important things is about the philosophy of education. It's looking at how do you train holistic individuals. So one thing that we could reform, I think, and take this opportunity to reform is to instill creativity and critical thinking in schools. I think this is some of the things that we can do if we have a different way of assessment and also different way of teaching. More interactive, like what I mentioned before, also discussion. So that students are not just rote learning, but it's more on how do they think, how do we help them to learn, and how do they become learners themselves.
And now with the MCO, a lot of parents need to homeschool their kids. Generally, a lot of parents are unprepared. They lack the skills to be as effective and educated as trained teachers. I know I am. So how do we prepare parents to be effective educators outside the classroom?
I think it's a very challenging time. It's suddenly now parents are thrown into the role as teachers as well. I think on social media we see that parents are saying that we should increase the salaries of teachers. So indeed it's challenging, and I think that it's not easy to change overnight. So I think some of the tips that we can do is just to start with the basic activities that we do every day. We letting the children help with activities at home, cooking, baking. These are all activities that can help them to give them responsibility as well as to help them to have a sense of ownership and to build up their other skills as well. And the other stuff that they can do as well is to let their children explore areas that they are curious about, and also help them to be aware of what is happening around them. I think this is a critical time that parents teach the children what is COVID-19 about. Why do they have to stay at home? What are the things they can do to reduce the risk of infections? And what are the challenges that others face? For example, the frontliners, the poor. These are times where we can teach our children what are the other things that are happening surrounding us, and how can we confront these issues that rise.
For us to ensure that students, continue to be receptive when they continue to learn at home, is we have to ensure that their minds are fit as well. Now, I think the MCO can be particularly stressful for children, especially young children, maybe primary school students, maybe kindergarten students. So the talk now and the focus now is also on keeping them, cheerful and mentally well. So how do we do this? How do we safeguard? How do we take care of the mental health of younger children, especially during the period of MCO?
So I think one of the things that we can do to help them is to let them express themselves in terms of talk to them, communicate with them, understand what they're going through. I think most children actually don't understand why they're feeling frustrated as well. It's not a simple task, I think, but it's something that we should start talking about, being open about what's happening out there, to help them understand a little bit more of what's the new normal.
So we're not just talking about now, but going well ahead into the future, long after MCO ends, even there's going to be this talk of a new normal. So when school reopens, there's going to be a new normal, social distancing and the like will still need to be practiced long after the MCO ceases. So it's probably easier with secondary school children who's more mature for them to practice things like social distancing at school. But how do we get, primary school students or even kindergarten students to obey social distancing every day at school so that they'll stay safe?
Yeah, I think this is a very challenging question. So if we look at the average class size right now, it's around 27 students in primary school and around 26 in secondary school. So it's quite a sizable class. And we know that some schools, the bigger schools, actually have more students in a class. So every single little class is actually a small social gathering. And students naturally want to play with their friends. That is when public health education is very important, to teach them what's happening and how do they practice social distancing and what are the important hygiene and sanitation that they need to do. I think the consideration of school reopening will have to take into account a few factors. One is, can we gradually open different schools in different zones? One is, if the school is in green zone or a red zone. So what about the size of the school? If the smallest school might be able to do so, and if it's a primary or secondary school. So some of the possibilities that can be explored is also maybe you could give priority to students who are facing major examinations. I think it's a very difficult question to say what is the right thing to do, but it's a balancing act between the loss of learning opportunities for our students and also the health of our students. That's why online learning is an alternative method, but important right now to be enhanced so that we have an alternative if this persists on longer than expected, because we never know when this new normal will end.
Alright, thanks so much Ya Shin. Itu tadi Ya Shin Wan, Pengurus Penyelidikan Dasar Sosial di Institut Demokrasi, dan Hal Ehwal Ekonomi ataupun ideas membincangkan berkenaan dengan normal baru pendidikan. Bukan sahaja sewaktu Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan tetapi lama selepas PKP ditamatkan.